Good morning. Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Panama City. I'm Ron Holdaway, License Unity teacher and spiritual leader here at our center. It's so great to see all of you here with us today. I think, as usual, I think we have a great service ahead of us today, and so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure everybody else is too. It's great to see all of your smiling faces if you're on Zoom, and I know we just reported there's a few on Facebook watching, and we're welcome all of you here. So thank you for being with us. I wanted to share a couple things from the as we begin from our booklet. BWarner is going to give us our talk today about from our booklet released in renewal that we're following along for the 40 days of Lent. This is the second Sunday in Lent, and it's also the last day of February, which is hard to believe, and it's the 28th. So do you remember when the last leap year was? It was last year. 2020 was a leap year, so the next one won't be until 2024. So I'll be honest, I had forgotten already that last year was a leap year. So 2020 was a leap year. So we'll begin with a thought. I wanted to, as I read through this week, from our booklet, I think it was the meditation yesterday or the thought for the day. And as we think about that, I renew my gratitude in all things. I renew my gratitude in all things. And so, like I said, Bill's going to speak to us based on the second living word from our booklet now. And I'm sure we'll have a full affirmation, inspiring talk by Bill as he usually does. So, but first, let's listen to a opening song by, it's been a while since we played this one, but I thought this was appropriate for now. It's Rise by Faith Rivera.
Close my eyes, I open my heart, I'll take a deep breath, let the healing start. I lift my hands, I plant my feet, I let love in, I feel the beat, it's calling us to rise, spirit rise up, rise in me, I let my soul, I clear my mind, I'm here and now, in present time, I feel the power of 1,000 suns, lighting up the dark. Oh, we rise as one. Oh, rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me, rise in me. I sing to you, I sing to you, you sing to me, you sing to me. Change up this noise, make sweet harmony. Come on and rise, oh rise, spirit rise up, rise in me. Oh, rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise in me, rise in me. Heart to heart, suns, light up the dark. Oh, we rise as one. Love's calling out your name. Love's calling. That's why we came. Love's calling out your name. Love's calling. It's why we came. Come on and rise, rise, spirit rise up, rise with me, rise. Come on and rise, oh spirit rise up, rise with me, rise up, rise up. Rise up, rise up. Come on and rise up. Come on, lift your hands up, jump, reach for the sky, go up higher. Rise up. Come on, raise your voice and shout out. Love is alive, bring the light brighter, brighter. Rise up. Come on, lift your hands up, jump, reach for the sky, go up higher. Rise up. Come on, raise your voice and shout out. Love is alive, bring the light brighter, brighter. Rise up. Come on and rise up.
So if the only prayer we ever said in your whole life was thank you, that would suffice. That's according to Meister Eckhart. And that song that we just heard by Faith Rivera, Rise Up, Spirit, Rise Up in Me. Love is calling us. That's why we're here. Isn't that so true? So let's open with prayer. So I'll invite you to just settle in, close your outer eyes if it's comfortable, and just know that God is a love that has no end and no power, no bounds. God's healing power, divine life, is restoring, healing, and revitalizing our world in this very moment. We raise our consciousness to this awareness. We let go of any fears or any anxieties, and we affirm that we are all safe, healthy, and protected. We bless all those who support us in maintaining vibrant, radiant health. We celebrate the work of all who seek to promote social justice in our country. We pray for guidance and wisdom as we seek to do what is ours to do. We express divine life in all that we think, say, and do. We bless our global family with radiant health, peace of mind, and radiant love. We celebrate the awareness that we are an eachness in the allness of life. And so it is. Amen. So Unity of Panama City is an open and accepting spiritual community for multi-generational diverse individuals with open minds and hearts. We use affirmative prayer, meditation, to empower and inspire people of all faiths to apply spiritual principles in their lives. At Unity Center of Panama City, we are open and accepting to all faiths, and we encourage individuals, families, and people of all denominations to join us in celebrating the divinity within themselves and within others. And Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, the real search of all people is for God. And whatever you choose, we say that And we mean that, whatever word you use for the divine in you, or the spark of Christ, the universal Christ, the breath, the Brahma, whatever you choose. That's what we are all about, is seeking that presence. And he says, he goes on to say, they may think they are looking for other things, but they eventually must admit that it is God that they seek. And the way we, in unity, the way we accept that and practice that is with our five principles. You know, I show this every week. And, you know, when we do things like this, it can get to be repetitive, and we take it for granted. But these are this is the philosophy. We don't have to say these. We don't have to repeat them. We hold them in our consciousness and live, or have a philosophy according to these five principles. And if you want a real sense of that, you know, this is the last day of February, so it's the last day of celebrating Black History Month. I invite you to go on the website again and listen, our website, unitypanelcity.org, and listen to the recording, the video of several Unity ministers applying the principles to evolving consciousness through diversity. So I invite you to listen to that on this last day of Black History Month. And also AGNT, American Association for Global New Thought, we're participating the best we can in the 24th annual Gandhi King Season for Nonviolence. You can go online to the AGNT and find their devotionals and their affirmations and their practices that they do every day. We put those in our email blast every week. I hope you're seeing that. And then we also read them. We share these thoughts at our meditation, before our meditation on Thursday. So participate with that if you can. You know, our differences are often unveil similarities more than we know. We have more in common than we have differences. So support that season of nonviolence as we go about this season. Our events here in our center occur every week. Tuesday at 6 p.m. Rose Flora facilitates a Course of Miracles. And that's a really homogeneous community. And so we thank you, Rose, and everybody who participates in that. Wednesday, we have a coffee and chat. And, you know, we started this over a year ago just as a way of touching base with each other, and we continue to do that. So there's no agenda. We just talk about what's on our hearts and on our minds and in our souls for the moment. So join us if you need to just vent, if you will. And Thursday at 11 o'clock, I'll lead a meditation, guided meditation. And again, that's a very special service that we were doing when we were in person at the temple, but now we've been doing this for over a year through Zoom. So join us if you can. We just actually Thursday is our last session for a book study that Melissa has led us through. That's The Gospel of Thomas, The Way of Thomas by John Mabry. And if you're not familiar with the Gospel of Thomas, I invite you to find that there's lots of books on it, but Mabry is now that we've ended the class, you could probably borrow a book from somebody if you haven't read it, or if you did participate in the class. But I invite you to, it's pretty eye-opening. It's a consciousness awareness and eye-opening to read this book. And so thanks to Melissa for doing this. It's been really good. We've had a good time. Again, the last session is this Thursday. And you'll be hearing about coming up soon. We're going to announce about our next book study, and that is The Afterlife of Billy Fingers by Annie Kagan. I'm not going to tell you a lot about it right now, but just to know that I forgot the date, actually. That's the reason I'm not going to tell you. I forgot when we're starting. So, but, you know, join us for these book studies, because this one's going to be this one will be a lot of fun. The premise in the book, and I'm not going to spoil that yet either. The premise in the book is so amazing, and it's so deep and soul touching. And I think Chris Durham and Becky and others of you recommended this book, and it's a little different than what we've done, but it's very heartfelt. So I invite you, stay tuned for the announcements. You don't want to miss this. I'm so grateful for your giving, that you giving from your heart and your whole being to this spiritual community. It really is humbling to see this, and for us to continue doing this throughout this pandemic. And I'm so grateful, and I know I speak for the board and everybody in the congregation. It's just it's humbling. So I invite you to continue giving, and you can go to our website, unityofpanamacity.org, click on the donate button. It's all over the website. Or you can mail us a check at the P.O. box at the address, which is also in the mailbox. So I invite you to do that. So now put your hands together, and let's say the affirmation of our blessings. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is, and so it is. One other announcement that before I announce this, this is you should receive a letter. You should, if you haven't already received it, you should receive a letter this week. Most of you are nodding your head about the ballot for board member and nominating committee, board nominating committee, and also the affirmation that you confirmation that you want to stay a member of Unity Spiritual Center of Panama City. So look for that in the mail. We're going to have a meeting on April the 11th. It's a community chat, and we'll tell you the results of the ballot. We're asking you to mail those back in, your ballot back in by the end of March. So let us know if you have any questions about all that. Thanks to Becky Fuller for helping me get all those letters out. So thank you, Becky. Thank you. So one of the big parts of Unity is affirmative prayer. And I know I've gotten several, just in the last few days, I've gotten several prayer requests, and we put those on our list here. And then I send them off to the Unity Village, to Silent Unity, where we pray on them. So just know that your prayers and what is in your heart is important. So if you're willing to share it with us, we'll put you on the prayer list. I have several. I'm not going to read them today because we've got several, but just know we are aware of your prayer requests. So continue to do so. And if you don't want to send them to us, you can go directly to silentunity.org and you can pray. The Silent Unity will hold those prayer requests in prayer for 30 days. So it's and there's definitely power in this affirmative prayer. So as we slow our minds and our bodies to just to be still, I invite you to get comfortable in your chair. Sheila is going to read our daily word today, so I'll let Sheila begin. Sheila.
Thank you. Now, I live in the present. I live in the now. In driving a car, an occasional glance in the rearview mirror is necessary, but there would be trouble ahead for us were we to keep our attention fixed on what is happening behind us. So in meeting life's experiences day by day, an occasional backward glance is helpful in giving us a sense of direction, but it is not helpful to keep our attention fixed on other days or other times, on other situations. Now is the important time. Now is the time we have to live. Now is the time for happiness. Now is the time for success. Now is the time for joy. Now is the time for accomplishment. Rather than think about that which has gone before or about that which still lies ahead, I will live in the present. I will make a success of the present moment. Now, this moment, I am alive. Now, in this moment, I know I am a unique creation in the universe. Now, this moment, I have God's approval and blessing. Now, this moment, I am happy now. This moment, I am productive. Now, this moment, I am content. Now, this moment, I am a success. Our affirmation is now, I live in the present. I live in the now. Please repeat after me. Now, I live in the present. I live in the now.
Thank you, Sheila. So as we begin to still our hearts and mind for a few moments of meditation, listen to this next song by, let me get it here. Again, this is another song by Faith Rivera, but it was so appropriate for today. It's The Power of Now. So begin to still your hearts and mind. You can watch the images for a few moments, and then you can close your eyes and go into the silence or begin going within.
Power of now is always present, nowhere to be than where you are. The power of now flows oh so gracefully. The power of now is always perfect, nothing to be than who you are. The power of now flows oh so easily. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away. Let everything wash away. Power of God. The power of now is ever flowing, connecting the soul to the word. The power of now unfolds so peacefully. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away. Let everything wash
Now I invite you to stay in this contemplative, meditative position, fully letting the chair, your couch, or sofa fully support your body as we begin just a few moments of turning within. If you haven't already done so, I invite you to close your outer eyes if that's comfortable and just begin to take this mantra of now, the power of now, into your consciousness, into your being. So take a deep breath in and feel your body rise up, and exhale and feel as if you fully settled in. Another deep breath in, rise up, and then release and relax. Scan your body for any place that you may be holding tension or anxiety or discomfort. And just breathe into that. Breathe that deep, life-giving breath into that space. Relax your shoulders, relax your face, just for a few moments. As Faith Rivera sings, the power of now, releasing the power of nowhere to go, nowhere to be, releasing control right now for just a few moments. So as you continue breathing normally and relaxing your body, now relax your mind and just let anything that there is to do or to be somewhere, just let it go and be now. 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 In the silence, just for a few moments. Be in the now. In this now moment, as you breathe that in, that intuitive knowing of being in the now, nothing to forgive, nothing but love, nothing but caring, nothing but gentleness and peace in the now. This is not something that we can be taught. It's an intuitive knowing, intuitive presence of living and breathing in this now moment. So now take another deep breath in and then relax fully and deeply. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And know that we can always return. We can carry this now moment, this sense of awareness of higher consciousness with us wherever we go in this now moment. So when you're comfortable and full, you can open your outer eyes and be fully present and ready to continue our service today. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, sweet Spirit. So as I said earlier, BWarner is going to talk about the second Sunday in Lent, and I'm going to turn the service over to Bill. I'm going to stop my sharing of this and let Bill take over. Bill?
Thank you, Ron. Morning, everybody.
Morning.
I know I can't hear you, but you can hear me. And you're probably not going to see me much today. I'm having a little problem with my computer. But I would like to share some things with you today. Oops. Here we are. This is us. This is the beginning. Okay. I'm here today to talk about our second living word from our Lent booklet of Release and Renew. And it starts with this quote: "Today you will be with me in paradise." Now that's a quote from Jesus as he's on the cross. And these are words, and the author of the essay that it starts us off on this particular week, his name is Reverend Mark Anthony Lord. What a perfect name for a pastor, wouldn't you think? An absolutely perfect name. Anyway, Reverend Lord goes on to say that he wants us to explore a metaphysical perspective on how the image of Jesus on the cross represents the now, and how the men on either side of Jesus represent the past and the future. Now, this sounds like it could be a very interesting, although somewhat intense and exhaustive, theological and biblical study, and one that I might be interested in taking on one day, but not today. Today, I'm going to take a different approach. In my readings of the essays for this week, I came away with the idea that for us to continue on our paths to enlightenment, for us to really start to connect with our spiritual being, we need to increase our awareness of living in the now present moment. And if you're like me, as you go through your day, you're probably not as aware of the now moment as you should be. We rarely take advantage of all the opportunities that crop up during our day, mainly because we don't see them as opportunities. We're too accustomed to we're too consumed, I should say. We're too consumed by our wants and desires, too busy trying to fill those perceived holes in our lives, too overly concerned with pending decisions or what might happen. And as we live through this human experience of ours, we are limited because we have to do it one day at a time and one day after another. That's our time in the universe. We can't jump forward. We can't jump back. Now, the present moment is all we have, at least for now. But what if we could relive a day? What would you do? To be more precise, what would you do if you were stuck in one place and every day was exactly the same and nothing you did mattered? That about sums it up for a lot of us over the past year, isn't it? We've been in our homes because of the lockdown, no real availability to travel, no in-person church services, no dinners out, no movies, no at-home gatherings of friends and extended family. Every day, pretty much the same, all blurring together. So what would you do? What have you been doing? And this kind of reminds me of a movie that I saw a few years ago. The movie was called Groundhog Day. Any of you seen Groundhog Day? Well, now, believe it or not, a British newspaper, The Independent, has said that Groundhog's Day is, quote, hailed by religious leaders as the most spiritual film of all time, unquote. So if you're not familiar with the film, let me give you a summary. The movie has as its lead character, as you see there inside the clock, a weatherman named Phil Connors, and he's played by Bill Murray. And this character is an insufferable jerk with way too high of an opinion of himself and his weather predictions, and way too low of opinion of everybody else around him. Now, he's been tasked by his TV station to go to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania to cover Groundhog Day. And he makes no secret of his contempt for the assignment. He doesn't want to go to the small town that's just full of hicks that live there. And once he's there, he gives a half-hearted performance reporting on Groundhog Punxsutawney Phil as he comes out to see his shadow, and all the other festivities that are going on. And contrary to Connor's own prediction, a snowstorm does hit the area and prevents all travel outside of Punxsutawney, so he ends up having to spend the night. But the next morning, he wakes up to find that once more, it's Groundhog Day, and he has to experience the previous day's events all over again. Now, when he recognizes this, he tries to explain it to Rita, who is his producer, and that's Andy McDowell right there on the other side of the picture. But she doesn't believe him, walks away, and he ends up living the rest of that day, and the days start repeating. And nothing he does during the day matters, and he always wakes up alone in his room. After doing this for a while, he realizes that nothing he does has any consequence for him. So he begins spending his loops in binge eating and one-night stands, and he even robs a armored car to get some funds for his other activities. And each time, he uses his increasing knowledge of the day's events and the town's residents to manipulate circumstances to his advantage. He eventually focuses on seducing Rita, using the loops to learn more about her so he can try to be with her. No matter what steps he takes, however, Rita always rebuffs his advances. He gradually becomes depressed, desperate for a way to escape the loop. He commits suicide. Then he commits suicide again and again and again. But nothing works. He always keeps waking up alone, and it's still Groundhog Day. He eventually figures he has to explain it to Rita again. This time he uses his detailed knowledge of the day to accurately predict events. This convinces her that something is happening, so she spends the rest of that day's loop with him. And she encourages him to think of the loops as a blessing instead of a curse. And when he awakes the next morning, alone again, he decides to take her advice. This time, he would be more enlightened. This time, he would use the time for service of others and self-improvement. During the day, He fixes someone's flat tire, catches a kid who falls out of a tree, prevents a man from choking at a diner, and tries to help an old homeless man. All these things happened the day that other days previous, but he never bothered to do anything. Today, he's trying to make a difference. He also learns to speak French because Rita likes French poetry. He learns to sculpt ice. He learns to play the piano. And during these loops, he's gradually changing, gradually refocusing less and less on himself and more on others. Eventually, there comes a moment when Phil is with Rita and he looks at her. They've been playing in the snow, throwing snowballs, building a snowman. And he tells her, when you stand in the snow, you look like an angel. And the point here is not that he is falling in love with her for the first time for real. The point here is that he's learned to see the angel. He's learning to master the day. Each day, getting closer to perfection. Arguably, especially from a Buddhist perspective, it is this effort that would ultimately free him from his time prison. And while it is never directly mentioned in the film, this transformation is estimated to have taken 40 years. 40 years of repeating the same day until tomorrow finally arrives. That's 14,600 days. You know, I think there's a small element of truth in the fact that we, in our current pandemic situation, are basically repeating the same day over and over. We're still waiting for something else to happen in the future, waiting for that better tomorrow when we can stop wearing masks and start meeting again. But what have we done with the days that have gone by where we have been sequestered as it is? You know, I also have to believe that when Phil was first presented with that exact same day for the very first time, that it was probably the worst day of his life. But that by the end of the movie, by the end of his days, while it's still the exact same day with the exact same things happening, somehow this time, it was probably the best day of his life. Now, for us in the real world, unfortunately, tomorrow always comes. And all we can do is try to be the best person that we know how to be during that day. And I'm showing this slide simply because a lot of it has to do with our perspective on the day. You know, are we a glass half full person or a glass half empty person? I will readily admit that I jump to being a half empty person before I finally come around to half full. And if your glass is full, how do you add more to your day without it running over? You see, in Lent, during this time of Lent, we were taught to release something in order to make room for more. We're taught to release and then renew. So let's take a look at our release and renews for this week. The first one is release your apathy and renew your zeal and enthusiasm. This is unity, people. We stand for one universal power, a divine spirit within, co-creating our reality, affirmative prayer and meditation, and living to what we believe in with our actions. So I ask you, where's the room for apathy? And remember, our divine spirit within has all the zeal and enthusiasm we will ever need. And when we seek spiritual guidance, it will be there. All we have to do is respond to it to make it become real. Our next release and renew is release your fear of lack and renew your awareness of abundance. Our booklet tells us that lack is a perspective. We are not less than we think we are. We are more, much more. But thinking we're less than is easier to believe. Thinking we don't have all we need is easier than accepting that we have enough, but that maybe we aren't doing enough or anything at all with it. But you can't think that way. Change your thoughts, change your life. Abundance is all around us. And once you release the fear of lack, abundance becomes clear. Our last one is release your sense of worry, renew your faith in divine order. Worry never solved anything and never prevented anything from happening. Worry is an inappropriate use of our imagination. Our ability to choose our thoughts allows us to think of things that are not always good for us. And being able to discern those not so good thoughts and to give them no mind lessens our anxiety and lets us see the natural order of things. Trusting in this natural order allows us to accept whatever the outcome may be. And I'd like to finish with this reminder that today is tomorrow's yesterday. Today is tomorrow's yesterday. And yesterday is how we became who we are today. We don't get 14,600 times to get one day right. We get one day. You want a better tomorrow? You must do it today. Release and renew what you must, but do it today. I got one last thing to say before I go, and that is my traditional may use, and I wanted to do that in person as long as my stream will last. And that is, may you continue to work to be the best that you can be today for your better tomorrow. And may you learn to see the angel. Thank you. Thank you for your kind attention. Stay safe. Be well, everybody. Bid you namaste.
Thank you, Bill. I think you can see all these smiling faces and Zoom waves and hugs and all that. So thank you. I guess we could do the old snaps.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Bill. Very wise advice for us, and a good, excellent summary of the booklet that we're studying, Release and Renew for Lent. So thank you. This will be one that we'll watch again and again and again, I bet, on YouTube. So thank you, Bill.
You say that every week, Ron.
And I mean it every week. I mean it.
Yeah, you do.
I do. I mean it every week. So today is the last day of February, like we said, and I think we did this in January as well. So we're going to celebrate March birthdays beginning today, and I'll probably do it again next week, because if we wait, we will miss somebody. So hold on just a minute. Let me get my
I'm
power.
not too bogged down into the movie.
You gave me perspective on the movie, because you know I've never really cared.
You're okay, Bill.
All right.
We're going to Becky just informed us, as we can everybody see the happy birthday candles. Let's see. Nope. Hold on. Can you see the happy birthday candles? Yeah. Okay, good. So Becky just informed us right before we started the service, and I don't see her online today on Zoom. She was there, but I think she went to Facebook. But Chris's birthday is today. Is that right? Is that what? Yeah. Okay. So Chris, this will include you again. You had a happy birthday for February, but since it's so close to the 1st of March, you'll get it again today. Happy birthday. So Bob's going. So who on this call, or on this Zoom call, who has a birthday in March? Raise your hand. Let's see. I'm not seeing everybody. Anybody? Anybody?
My brother will be 85.
Okay. Okay.
That's pretty good one to celebrate.
That is. So Becky sent me, from her list, she had Steve Cook's is the end of the month, March 31st. So we'll sing happy birthday to him. And so there you go. We got a bookend, one today, almost the first day of March, and one on the very last day of March for sure. So, and then Bob is going to sing the happy birthday song.
Okay.
Okay, here you go.
I'm sure there are many in between the first and today and the end of March. And of course, we want to wish everyone, all of our friends and family, and don't forget our pets. They're important too. So we're singing to all of them. You ready?
Ready.
Happy birthday to you. There's no one like you, uniquely created. I love knowing you. We bless you with life and abundance galore. God bless you, my loved one, and have many more.
Yay. Thank you, Bob.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So now, as we usually do, let's close with the prayer for protection. And I'm going to make this a blessing to you guys. And if you would just receive it, ever how you would receive it, either on your heart covered, your hands folded, and just receive this prayer for protection. I had it up here. I was going to share it on a slide, but I won't do that. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. So happy Sunday, everybody. Happy day. Enjoy this beautiful weather we're having. Yesterday, Karen Pauline sent me a text and said, this wasn't yesterday glorious. And it was. I think today is going to be just the same. So enjoy the day. Namaste to all of you. So I'll stop the recordings here and then we'll have some time to share.